Welcome to the Java Threads demonstrations. This session is about wait and notify. So wait and notify will be discussed in this session. In previous sessions we discussed about extending the thread, implementing the runnable interface, and here we will discuss about the wait and notify in this demonstration. So we have a class called app, public static void main, and we have the thread t1. So the thread which is created using the anonymous threads, so this anonymous threads, let's look at here. So starting threads using the thread constructor with anonymous classes. So this is an example for that. Here thread t1, new thread, and you pass the runnable object, new runnable, and the code which is related to that, and the run method that we override, all are available here. So if we run this code, you can see the thread is created. So in the same way, we'll have the wait notify, and we have two threads, thread t1 and thread t2. And we create an object of the processor class. So let's see the processor class. This is the processor class. Public class processor, and public void, we have a method called produce which throws interrupted exception. And in the synchronized block, inside the synchronized block, we have system.out.println producer thread running, and next we have the wait method, and we have the resumed. So and inside the consumer, we get the input from the user. We have the scanner class for that, and thread.sleep. And inside the synchronized block, we have waiting for return key, next line, and then notify and thread.sleep. So we'll be discussing about the wait and notify after we run this program. So we have the processor class like this, and inside the app we have thread 1 and thread 2. So in the processor class, it has produce and consume methods. We have produce and consume, which is called from here. Processor.produce, processor.consume. And we start the both threads, and we put t1 join, t2 join. So let's now see, we go to the producer, as we have wait. So let's see what is this wait. So this is the Java implementation. So it causes the current thread to wait until another thread invokes. So that is the wait. So this method should only be called by a thread that is the owner of this object's monitor. So wait causes the current thread to wait until another thread invokes the object.notify or object.notify all. In other words, this method behaves exactly as if it simply performs the call wait 0. So we have the wait and the notify. Notify, public final void notify, wakes up a single thread that is waiting on this object's monitor. So it wakes up a single thread that is waiting on this object's monitor. If any threads are waiting on this object, one of them is chosen to be awake. The choice is arbitrary and occurs at the discretion of the implementation. So thread waits on an object's monitor by calling one of the wait methods. So we have the wait method here, we have the notify here. So if we run this example, produce a thread running, waiting for the return key. So those are from this processor class, produce a thread running, and with the wait method is invoked, so waiting for the return key. So if we go to the output, we put so return key pressed, so you can see return key pressed and the notify is called, and you go to the previous produce and resume. So if we comment notify, waiting for the return key pressed, so we have produce a thread running, it is this one, waiting for the return key. After the wait, so the wait method is executed and it's waiting for the return key, and return key pressed, but the notify is commented. Now you can see the notify is commented, therefore the resumed part is not printed. So resumed part is not printed. So if we debug this, produce a thread running, so if we debug this, so last time we had the run debug, so you can see once the code is running, it goes to this green line, system.out.println, produce a thread running. So if we go forward, it goes to the wait method, wait is invoked, and after that it goes to the system.out.println waiting for return key, we are waiting for the return key, we enter this one, and after that once the return key is pressed, the notify is invoked, and it goes back to the resume once again. So we have a breakpoint here as well. We debug, goes to the system.out.println, produce a thread running. We go forward, wait, and here the most important thing is once you the next execution. So now the execution in this one line, which is the wait method, the wait is invoked, and the next line, watch carefully, it goes to the consumer thread because the wait is invoked. System.out.println resumed. The line which is highlighted is not executed yet because of the wait. The control goes to the green line here and prints waiting for the return key. So we'll put the return key, enter, and it goes to the notify. So now the notify is executed. So you can see now the control goes back to the producer methods system.out.println resumed line. So now you can see the green, so the green highlighted, so we just highlighted the resumed will be printed. So now if I play this, the execution is at line 12. Now the resumed is. So that is a demonstration about wait and notify. So the join method, it waits for this thread to die. So this is the code of the app class with the main method. And this is the processor class. That is the end of the demonstration.